Jen and Melvin, good morning from a very gray and drizzly Northridge this morning. We're standing in front of the complex that used to be Northridge Meadows, a three-story apartment building that in 1994 collapsed, killing 16 people and becoming the symbolic epicenter of the Northridge earthquake.
I'm sitting in the Fox News studio right now, and if you're anywhere in our area, we are, of course, located in Hollywood. If you're anywhere in the Hollywood area, probably even farther out from Hollywood, you know that we have had quite an earthquake.
4:30 a.m., almost 4:31, January 17th, 1994, the ground began shaking. It lasted only 10 to 20 seconds, but to those who felt it, it felt like an eternity, especially since within the minute there was a magnitude 6 aftershock, making it feel like the earth just kept moving. The 6.7 magnitude earthquake felt hundreds of miles away. That day, 57 people lost their lives, although a subsequent study puts the death toll at 72. It includes people who had fatal heart attacks as a result of the scare and the stress. Thousands more injured, even more losing their homes or businesses. The quake, it turns out, was caused by the rupture of a previously undocumented fault and caused more than $20 billion in damage. 3 decades later, and seismologists across the world continue to study the Northridge earthquake and encourage people to be prepared.
Most people are very afraid of dying in the earthquake. You shouldn't be. You're far more likely to die on the freeway in LA than in an earthquake, right? But very few people are afraid of being bankrupted by the earthquake. And that's where we should be putting our attention. But the only way we can protect our lives and our jobs and our city is by looking at the issue before the earthquake and being willing to invest a little bit now to prevent a lot of losses later.
That day, so many lives were lost and so many others forever changed. We remember today LAPD officer Clarence Wayne Dean, who moments after the quake jumped on his police motorcycle to rush to work for emergency duty. It was still dark, and what he didn't know at that time was part of the Newhall Pass had collapsed. The 46-year-old military veteran killed instantly when he flew off the freeway on his motorcycle. All in all, 7 major freeway bridges collapsed and 212 were damaged. And seismologists remind everybody that even though 30 years have passed since that earthquake, here in California, it's not if another earthquake will happen, it is when it will happen, and it will always pay to be prepared. Reporting live this morning in Northridge, I'm Gigi Graciette. Back to you.
Gigi, can I ask you, because everyone's asking each other this question, you know, where were you when it happened? So let me ask that to you. Where were you when this earthquake happened 30 years ago?
I was sound asleep, of course, awakened like thousands of other people, millions of people here in the San Fernando Valley. You never forget that moment. As a matter of fact, I was saying earlier that for weeks after the 4:30 earthquake, I woke up at 4:30 a.m. exactly every single day. And apparently it's a traumatic response that a lot of people had, just like clockwork, every day at that exact time with no alarm. And you never forget that. And I was actually here in Northridge when President Bill Clinton came to visit, to see the survivors, to see the damage firsthand. And just a very quick story, President Bill Clinton drove by the crowd of media and people, and when his motorcade drove by, a little boy, he must have been about 7 years old, screamed out, "Mr. President!" And a Secret Service agent heard him, stopped the motorcade, told the president, and Bill Clinton came out again to shake that little boy's hand and ended up shaking everybody else's hand in that crowd that was waiting for him right here on Reseda. And I was there to watch that. It was it was a very moving moment.
What a story. Gigi, thank you.
Thank you, Gigi, for sharing that.